All right, that's our background. Now we're joined by the Executive Director, Association Nigerian Electricity Distributors, Sunday Oduntan. Happy New Year, let me say.
Thank you very much, same to you.
Because we've not seen this year yet.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
All right. Now, one question in the mind of so many Nigerians is, we know we have been on this program so many times. We've been on all the TV programs in Lagos and parts of Nigeria. We've been on radio programs, we've been on newspapers, talking about electricity, one complaint and the other. But it doesn't seem to get even, it's not improving. It doesn't seem to be improving in the minds of Nigerians. In the minds of Nigerians,
yes. The question we should be asking ourselves is, why is it not improving? For us in NANED, we are not in the business of playing politics with power. There are people who play politics with this thing. Now, that's number one. Number two, we should understand how the system works so that we can now know why the system is not working, if we are saying it is not working. For us, we are distributors, and we're not passing the buck. We have to say the truth. Even some people don't want us to say the truth anymore. They want us to keep quiet and say, yes, MDA debt is, they are processing, they want to pay, but don't say anything again. This country, we need to get it right. From independence, every single government that comes into power in this country tell the people who provide power, we are doing this, we are doing that. What people want is to see the results. And we should be asking questions, why are we not getting the results? What are the things expected of us as citizens in terms of paying our bills, in terms of stopping this culture of stealing energy? That's on the part of the citizens. On the part of the government, how can they step in and do the right thing instead of paying lip service into this thing? That is government. For all the operators, how can we improve our service? Do the proper thing. There's no light somewhere. A distributor will not tell you to expect that there will be maintenance or something. Or the transmission will not even give all distributors necessary information. There will be blackout in some areas. People will be blaming us. We, the electricity distributor companies in Nigeria, we are the one that people have termed the bad guys in the system. And that is very unfair. And that we will not accept anymore. This year is a year that will be different, and we don't give a damn. We need to tell Nigerians the truth. The truth is that there's no power.
Mind your word there. Mind the word.
The point is, like you said, Nigerians just want to see results.
Results.
This time we've been told again that there is a shortage of gas and low water levels and all of that.
That is true.
The question is, are there no alternatives in such a way that we can actually go past this same factors that seem to be a recurring decimal every year? You'll answer that when we come back from this break.
Okay.
It's time to take a short one. Stay with us. All right, you're welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's TVC Breakfast, and we're looking at the drop in power generation. It's now somewhere around 2,662 megawatts from 3,959 megawatts, and we're trying to find out exactly why the situation continues this way. Our guest in the studio is Executive Director, Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors, NANED. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so my question before we went on that break, low water levels, non-availability of gas, that is always the recurring decimal. Why have we not been able to go past this, and so that, like you said, the average Nigerian can always get electricity?
Now, we need to appreciate the efforts of this current government, particularly the Honorable Minister for Power, Works and Housing, since last year when he came on board. And we need to look at how he has been trying to ensure that we have what he termed incremental power generation, so that we can have enough power. But he cannot on his own stop pipeline vandalization in the Niger Delta. And once they do that, that means about 23 power plants are denying that essential gas to power their turbines. We've said this over and over again. I think it's enough time you, the media, to beam your searchlight on the Niger Delta and look at what is going on there. What can we do? We were saved by the fact that there was a high water level, so there are only 3 hydro that we have in the country, 3 of them, Jeba, Shiroro, and Kanji dams, were able to give us some sort of increase in generation in place of the absence of the full capacity of the turbines, who rely on gas. Now, the moment that water level goes down, then you begin to witness a decrease in generation. And when there is a decrease in generation to an extent, there's a level, you have what we call system collapse. And we've had that in the last few weeks.
So are you saying then that there are no alternatives right now apart from water and gas
and hydro? They are the main one we use for now. Efforts are being made to kickstart other means, including, of course, solar. But all those things take time. And that's what we keep on saying. When we're talking about something like maybe a refinery or a power plant, you don't complete them in 10 months. So people need to understand that, and we need to be more patient on that.
Yeah,
but
we understand these things. These things take time.
Yes.
But the point there is, Nigerians would like to know, because when you say, well, we know getting these installations, you have to import them. You know the issue of forex, and then transporting them from the ports to the location. If you're going to use Adamawa State, or you're going to use Bauchi State, or Taraba State, or Borno State, for instance, because when it comes to the sun, you can harvest the sun really from that axis.
And we have it in
Kano, Jigawa.
Kano, Jigawa, the northeast is very good for that. If that's the plan, the concept of, okay, equipment has been purchased or has been acquired, and it's going to take 2 months, it's going to take blah, blah, blah months from now until now to fix this and so on. Those are the things Nigerians really want to know. Because when you say it takes time, certainly it takes time, but what are the actual strategies? Nigerians want to know that.
Well, that question should be directed at the Nigerian government. I represent electricity distributors. One fact people need to understand, a distributor can only distribute a product that has been produced. If a product is not produced, for God's sake, how can I distribute it? We cannot give what we don't have, and we're not passing the ball. And we're not saying that we internally are doing enough as well. The fact is that I believe that all of us Nigerians need to do something to fix Nigeria. Instead of talk, or talking to the gallery, or making people feel that everything is fine, things are not fine. In this sector, we're talking about a shortfall of 1 trillion naira. Nobody is talking about it. And the next thing we will hear, well, the power sector has been given, there's something we call NEPS, the CBN Intervention Fund, which was a legacy debt to the generation companies, transmission, and of course distribution. This, the CBN provided the fund as a loan. A loan is not a subsidy. A loan remains what it is, a loan. Even on our book as a distributor, we are the one carrying that deficit on our book. And people that understand finance will understand this, that if your book is continually in deficit, you cannot get finance from any institution. And when the issue of bond came, even I had a so-called Senior Association of Electricity Workers or something, even NLC, some people that should know better, saying government should not do anything on the bond. Well, that means people probably even want us to remain in the dark. And so be it, if that's what we want. We need to make a choice. It is a shame on Nigeria that South Africa could produce 40,000 megawatts and we're celebrating 5,000 megawatts.
Is that not because they have the fundamentals right? What exactly is the missing link that we're not able to be anywhere near South Africa, about 40,000 megawatts?
We cannot be blaming this government that came into power in 2015 for the woes of the sector that has been there for 60 years. The problem and the difference between us and South Africa is that their government over the years have managed to get it right. And until we get it right and stop playing politics with this thing and get those who are supposed to do what they're supposed to do what they need to do.
So my question is,
let me tell you one of our own concerns.
What are the fundamentals that need to be in place so that we can actually get it right?
A lot of things.
Like what?
Let me start with regulation. The last time we had to kind of fire a salvo at NEC. And for us in ANE, we believe that, well, you know what? NEC today is under the leadership of an acting chairman.
That's a regulatory body.
Who is just a staff of that institution, the most senior staff. The board of NEC, we're still waiting. They have cleared maybe the vice chairman and the members, but they are yet to resume. But let's look at it like this. And this is not about blaming anybody, but this is about us fixing Nigeria and stop deceiving ourselves. A government came into power in this country on the 29th of May 2015. That government knew that some statutory bodies, the members of that body, like NEC, their term will expire late December 2015. What I know in other climes, every country, is that they will have made preparation, even if they are going to advertise it. Nigeria have enough human capital resources to have diligent, responsible, right professionals to fill those positions. What happened? This government, by December when Dr. Samamadi left, they failed to fill those positions.
And you said this government
from December. No. We are all in the same shoe, all of us. Because Nigeria, even you, the media, there's something that we should talk about. It's either we are afraid to say the truth, or we want to play to the gallery, or some people have a way of getting people to say
you've been provided the platform
now,
to tell
December 2015,
or whoever
those people were not replaced. We were put in the hand of civil servants who can only do their best. Their best is not good enough anyway. And then from December 2015, what is now? This is January 2017. We didn't talk about this in 2016 thinking they'll do it. They'll get it right. What did they do? They went to call a professor in the US.
Okay. All right, Sunday.
Who is not the only qualified person to do this thing?
All right,
why can't we look for people?
Yes.
Is it a paddy thing? Bring your paddy to fill this position. Until I get my paddy, we will not fill the position. We shouldn't fail Nigeria. Let us do what is right for Nigeria.
All right, Sunday. We'll come back to this certainly. Let's do what is right for Nigeria. Now, incessant power outages, obsolete equipment, lack of maintenance, huge estimated bills, lack of prepaid meters are some of the problems experts say are responsible for the shortfall in Nigeria's electricity sector.
Now, according to the Nigeria Electricity System Operator, power moves from the power plant through a setup transformer and tower to a transmission substation to the distribution substation. It is then fed to the transformers and to the consumer. Now, the nation's power grid is about 5,000 megawatts to serve more than 180 million Nigerians. A Minister of Power, Babatunde Raji Fashola, says it could support 6,500 megawatts, and if pushed to its limit, it could carry to 7,200 megawatts.
The transmission system in Nigeria comprises 330 kV and 132 kV circuits and substations. Now, the thermal generation is located in the south of the country, generally near to the sources of gas, while the hydro generation is located further north at Jebba, Kenji, and Shiroro, like Sunday said earlier on. Now, distribution is split into 11 zones.
In 2016, the country recorded many power grid collapses. In the first half of that year alone, Nigeria's power grid recorded 21 collapses, made up of 16 total collapses and 5 partial breakdowns. According to the Nigeria Electricity Supply Industry, the power grid had a peak power generation of 4,160 megawatts on January the 1st, 2017. And the power sector hit a peak generation of 4,959 megawatts on January the 3rd. Really? Did we ever get to that point?
Well, it talked about generation. It didn't talk about distribution. These are two different things. All right. Yes, let's take a break and then we come back to dwell more on this. Stay with us on TVC Breakfast. All right, if you're just joining us, you're watching TVC Breakfast, and we're talking about the challenges in power generation and distribution or availability of electricity for Nigerians. That is what Nigerians want to see. Generation, distribution, they don't know the difference, but give us light. let there be light.
Let there be
All right,
light.
we were giving you statistics earlier on. Now, as of January the 4th this year, power generation stood at 3,959 megawatts, dropping to 2,662 megawatts on January the 22nd, down from a peak of 5,074 megawatts generated on February the 2nd, 2016. That's in comparative terms.
Nigeria's electricity distribution companies, the DISCOs, have started shedding the 2,662 megawatts available to more than 6 million customers in their networks. On January the 22nd, the power sector recorded the highest system frequency of 51.32 megahertz. Is that what it is? And lowest system frequency of 48.52 HZ. What's that? Megahertz. I'm trying to find out.
There's the one they call kilohertz.
Because you know kilohertz,
megahertz.
megahertz.
Maybe we have to bring an electricity, electrical engineering, mechanical
electricity
engineer,
expert. He's the one
mechanical engineer to give us the breakdown of all these terminologies.
Yes,
and all
indeed.
of that.
Now, while the highest and lowest voltage recorded were 372 kV and 300 kV respectively. Now, the transmission company of Nigeria, that's the TCN, says the drop in power generation was due to low water levels, yes, you heard that already, at the hydropower stations and dearth of gas to the power generating companies.
Nigeria's national grid has suffered a system collapse twice this year, on January the 15th and 19th, 2017. All right, let's come back to Sunday in here. Now, there was the complaint of grid capacity. Even if all the electricity that's generated, the megawatts is generated, even if you distribute it, let's say you generate it and you send it out, the system does not have the capacity to withstand and carry the megawatts that you send out.
We are talking about transmission capacity. I know for a fact that efforts have been made to increase that capacity. But instead of banding the figures around and talking about this thing, what we should first of all understand is that we have failed as a nation over a period of 60 years to incrementally do this thing over the years. One government came after Obasanjo regime, set up by at least 10 to 20 years playing politics. Another one came, tried his best. After that, another one is here. We don't know the one that will come next. The most important sector in the country is the power sector. We would rather, as a nation, that's how we have failed, though, how much we have failed. We would rather subsidize petrol, making people to burn gas everywhere on the road, than to look at the critical sector, the power sector, and do something so the economy can pick up. Mark my word, this economy and all the effort being made can go nowhere unless and until we have at least a little bit of stability in the power sector. And that's why I will expect the federal government, and this is not about persons. You see, every time in this country, Bola Ige came, they say, he has to turn water into, maybe rock into water. He will fix this and fix that. The same people that will call civil servants were the one that will make sure it doesn't happen. Those culture, those practices are still with us. So when the political leaders even have their vision, they need to be vigilant and ensure that the people that work for them and with them are on the same page with them, and they are not being misled by those people who think they know something. And every time, and that's why I mentioned the issue of a board. If we cannot constitute a board for 13 months, how can we do other critical things? If a ship captain needs to be replaced, and in the interim you say one of the crew should step in and steer the ship, a big ship, and you cannot replace the captain for 13 months. It's either maybe you don't have enough qualified Nigerians, then go and look for Yibo now. And I know we have more than enough within the country. You don't even have to be looking outside. Let me go to America, beg somebody. If the person is not interested, get us somebody. Because that is critical. NAC ought to be independent, and they need to be consistent.
All right,
Okay.
break it down.
So,
Let us understand. When you say that some people are playing politics with this thing, Certainly, I'm not interested in who, and who.
Yeah.
But if we have to break it down to the context of, in this playing of politics, who is benefiting from the darkness that we are all in?
Generator importers are benefiting. The moguls in charge of distribution of diesel are benefiting. And of course, the chiefs are benefiting. It is an era of theft when there is no light. Either petty thieves on the street or those who manage to turn the figure wherever they are. The truth is that when we look at this sector, instead of naming, claiming, and blaming, it is always better for us to sit down together and look at the solution. But instead of looking at solution, what you find in this country is that even along the value chain, there was a news report 2 days ago. Sometimes I pity some of my brothers in the media. Laziness has taken over. People cannot do simple research. If I'm writing for a newspaper, before I go and put that ridiculous headline, I will do my research properly, get the fact from all sides. The value chain of the electricity involves 3 of us: generation, transmission, distribution. Yes, distribution, we are the one that that collect the money and all the rest, and we are not able to collect enough.
So what is the weakest link here?
Oh, the weakest link is transmission, and I said it loud and clear. Before anybody can pick me up, let me say it again. The weakest link is transmission.
Is it because it remains to be in the hands of government? Is that what the problem is?
That is because this has been over the years, the issue of lack of funding over the years. And that's why I keep on saying that instead of always blaming those who are in charge now, we should look at where they are coming from, what they met. We should measure this government by what they have done since they took over till now. I will give them a pass mark. And I'm saying since they took over till now, what they met. Now, whether they are now driving it fast enough is another thing.
Yeah, but how would you give them pass mark?
I don't think they are doing enough in terms of the strategy to deal with the shortfall in the sector. They are not. I don't want to be hearing my own minister going public to say, we've given them CBN intervention fund is a subsidy. I didn't see that clip, and I want to believe that he did not say that. I know that man wouldn't have said that, because he should know better, and I believe he knows better. If somebody was given a loan, and even that loan is not enough, and he's repaying back the loan, first charge, we pay back first charge to CBN. And there are still problems. You can't say because you've been given a loan, then we don't want to do anything again. That's number one. Number two, let me go to the issue of tariff, which Nigerians don't want to hear about tariff. Government don't want to hear about tariff, but we want the system to work. It cannot work, and I'll tell you why. You fix a tariff at a time when the exchange rate was 197 naira to $1, and this is what people need to understand. Simple mathematics, arithmetic. At 197 naira to $1, you give me a tariff. I should be selling the product for 25 naira on average. By the middle of the year, that exchange rate has gone to 293, 294. By the end of the year, 2016, a year after the tariff, the exchange rate is now officially 305. That one is not even available. It's as long as over 400 naira. But let us even say 350. If a product was priced and the price was put on that product based on 197 naira to $1, and it is now 350 naira, and the gas suppliers sell at the prevalent exchange rate, i.e., for example, 350. That means the cost of generation has gone up. So the generation companies now, they are giving an invoice that's more than what they used to have. They now give us an invoice based on that 350 naira to $1, which means I'm now buying the product for 68 naira, but I'm only allowed to sell it for 25 naira, and nobody is providing
the differentials.
And you are talking about Nigeria.
But how can you even talk about tariff when the fundamentals are not in place? Now, let's even look at the power supply and the debt challenge. Sometime, I think it was last year, the minister, BRF, Babatunde Rajifashola, was in Sokoto with some stakeholders, and he said, look, there is a need for a verification of some of these claims of debts, on the part of Gencos and Discos. Is there no
let us now think outside
need
the box
for some kind of verification?
This is an area that I, with due respect, try not to go into. I'll tell you the story because if they want it public,
as briefly as possible.
Now, ANED, we did an advert reminding Nigerians that the MDA debt has yet not been paid, about 100 billion naira. This was debt owed by ministry, departments, and agencies. If I mention some of the agencies, you'll be shocked. Some of those agencies, they pay their own salary. They are using power free of charge. And some of them, of course, include the military, including Ikeja Cantonment down the road here. And we now stated this, that these have not been paid. Now, the fact that they are not being paid is not the fault of the Honorable Minister. And I still don't understand why he chose to make it his own personal thing, and he went personal. To the extent that we were sent out of a meeting in Sokoto. And what was the issue? They said we were blackmailing the government, that they were doing verification. We are not blackmailing the government. We cannot blackmail the government. This government is our government.
Shouldn't government verify those claims?
How many years will it take you to verify, madam? If you are owing a debt from November 1, 2013, and that's what I want to be frank on. November 1, 2013, this is January 2017. How many years does it take anybody to verify bill? I've given you a bill, you accept that that is your bill, but now the government that want to pay your bill, I want to verify, which is good. The verification is still going on, and I accept that. But I'm saying that it is taking long, and the debt is still mounting. And when you talk about the tariff and fundamentals in place, you cannot talk about fundamental without talking about the price of the product. No product, you cannot fix this sector unless both are in place.
Even when the right product is not available,
the product will not be available if you are not ready to pay for the product.
Okay, chicken and egg situation.
Chicken and egg situation. Sunday Oduntan. Time will never always be enough for us to dwell on this, but we thank you very much for coming on this. And as time goes on, we certainly will be beaming our satellite on this.
Always obliging.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go on a break and then we come back with our next topic. Stay with us on TVC Breakfast.